The Paleo Diet, with a name like that, we suspect that it was not born yesterday. But this dietary approach based on the eating habits of our ancestors is coming back in force nowadays. On this channel, we approach health from a global point of view by working on the 4 pillars of health: diet, physical activity, mental health and sleep. If you are not yet a subscriber to the Top Fitness Health YouTube channel, consider subscribing, and if you want to be notified when a new video is released, consider activating the little bell. Are you ready to slim down? A return to the past that ensures a bright future, and a great figure. Follow the guide. Our Paleolithic forefathers had an athletic physique. Loren Cordain, Professor Emeritus in the Department of Health Sciences at Colorado State University, and author of the best-selling book, The Paleo Diet, says so. We don't realize how slender, athletic and rarely affected by heart disease our ancestors were, he says. How to explain such a miracle? By a diet based exclusively on the products, meat and non-cultivated plants, that nature offered them, he explains. A model to follow because what worked yesterday would also work for us. The hunter-gatherer diet is the only one for which we are genetically adapted, he insists. And the best way to keep your figure. Provided that you respect a few principles and above all modify your diet for life. Quite a challenge. Between the vegetarianism trend, the damaging effects of breeding on the planet, the question of animal treatment and ocean pollution, we think twice before putting a steak or a piece of tuna on our plate. And yet, our ancestors, who ate a lot of meat and fish, did not have any weight problems. This is why the paleo diet includes all lean meat, and the word lean is important, poultry, fish and seafood on the menu. These proteins should be about 55% of daily caloric intake, which means they will be present from breakfast to dinner. Why is this good? Protein is a metabolic booster. It takes more energy for the body to burn it than it does to burn the same amount of carbohydrates or fat. Moreover, they have a strong satiating power and therefore limit the risk of snacking. Paleo enthusiasts or not, today, all nutritionists and doctors encourage us to increase our consumption of plants. Loren Cordain is on the same wavelength. He allows all fruits, dry ones in very limited portions, and all vegetables, except tubers. Dried beans and peas are to be avoided, because they are not paleo, but you are allowed avocado because of its good fat content. At first glance, it's quite simple, but it represents quite a change because all this green and fresh food in quantity must represent the other half of your daily caloric intake. So it's fruit and vegetables at every meal. Why is that good? Because it's the assurance of covering all your needs in vitamins and minerals, and because it's the best source of fiber available. Loren Cordain reminds us that fruit contains on average twice as much fiber as whole grains and vegetables 8 times as much. Fiber is a very active contributor to satiety and helps limit snacking. Let's face it, there were few sugar consumers among our ancestors. The opportunities to access sweet flavors were limited. For example, honey, which could be found occasionally and in small quantities, and the sugar naturally contained in fruits and vegetables were the only providers of carbohydrates. There was no temptation for complex sugars either, since legumes and cereals were not cultivated. This is why the paleo diet is a no-carbohydrate added diet. Why is it good for your health? Because today many specialists say that sugar contributes to the development of obesity and a certain number of pathologies, diabetes, cancers. And from a dietetic point of view, it is almost mathematical. The more carbohydrates we consume, the less protein we eat. We know how useful lean meats and fish are for weight loss. Our ancestors did not eat butter for breakfast or salads dipped in vinaigrette. They were satisfied with the fat contained in the animals they hunted and fished. However, these were much less fatty than today's farmed meat, according to Loren Cordain, who invites us to reduce our intake of fats and to select those that are good for us, such as monounsaturated fats, olive oil, avocados, or omega-3, in fatty fish. Why start? Because we know that we eat too much fat. And that this excess has repercussions on our figure and our health, cholesterol, cardiovascular diseases. It is a question of bringing back the natural to the gallop. And to take back the habits of a time when we lived without cheese, without butter or dairy products, without cereals, without bread or cakes, without salt or refined sugar, without cold cuts. And of course without any cooked or industrial food. In short, without any of the pleasures to which we are very accustomed or even addicted. Without forgetting that these basics of the Western diet considerably increase the caloric bill. Too much fat, too much sugar, too much salt make the bed of obesity. And also because, according to Loren Cordain, we have not been programmed to absorb all these foods and they disrupt our body. The combination of fruits and vegetables plus proteins plus some good fats is more than enough to cover all our needs. On paper, everything is very clear and coherent, but there is still a big question. Do we still know how to follow such an asceticism? Nothing is less certain. The secrets of the Paleo Diet will no longer hold any secrets for you. Loren Cordain's book The Paleo Diet, the diet without processed foods to get back in shape. He explains in a clear and precise manner his method and the studies on which he relies to convince us to go back to our roots. And he suggests menus and recipes to get started right away. Paleo Diet, what do we eat? The Paleo Diet does not have a slimming goal, it is a healthier body that its followers seek to obtain. Eating fresh and unprocessed products means saying yes to meat, fish, with a preference for fish from the sea, and eggs, from free-range chickens. You can also eat fruits and vegetables, in season and preferably organic, for the vitamin C and fiber they provide. Nuts and seeds are also allowed. As for fat, which is essential to the human body, it should be ingested in the form of good fat, in other words in avocados, almonds or olive oil. On the other hand, and this is the less pleasant part, eating paleo means removing many foods from your cupboards. We say no to legumes, kidney beans, lentils, to cereals, to products processed by humans but also to sweet foods and finally to starchy foods like pasta. Bad news for Italian food lovers. A strict diet. As you can see, the Paleo Diet is rather restrictive, especially since it must be respected for life if you want to feel its effects. It is also difficult, but not impossible, to combine with modern life and going out with friends. If you want to adopt it, it is essential to make your transition step by step, in order to progressively banish certain foods but also to vary the meats, fruits and vegetables consumed. The Paleo Diet remains controversial because it presents risks of vitamin D and calcium deficiencies. The cause? The absence of dairy products. It is also proven that too much meat consumption increases the risk of cardiovascular problems, so it should not be seen as a main food. Less strict. The Mediterranean diet also aims to improve our general health, but allows dairy products as well as cereals. Better still, since it is low in sugars and omega-6, it reduces inflammation, as shown by a recent study that measured the levels of molecules that indicate the level of inflammation and oxidative stress. Inflammation, a consequence of modern life and diet, favors weight problems. It is involved in a very large number of chronic diseases, cardiovascular and digestive problems, autoimmune and respiratory diseases, hormonal disorders, the list is long. The paleo diet can alleviate a certain number of diseases and disorders, assures Agla A. Jacob, dietitian nutritionist. It allows you to feel really fitter. The brain turns better. The energy level increases and stabilizes, without falling during the day. Real benefits on a daily basis. Inflammatory foods equals inflamed intestines. In addition to eliminating many foods that are often responsible for food intolerances, the paleo diet also eliminates many foods that cause inflammation throughout the body, including the intestines. Sugar in all its forms, vegetable oils high in omega-6, corn oil, peanut oil, soybean oil, canola oil, rapeseed oil and margarine for example, and foods to which you are intolerant can all cause inflammation. Did you know that inflammation is at the root of many of today's chronic diseases, including cardiovascular disease, cancer and many autoimmune diseases? That also includes gut health. After all, the foods you eat are in direct contact with them. The paleo diet allows you to not only eliminate inflammatory foods, but to replace them with a variety of anti-inflammatory foods to finally soothe your intestines and give them a chance to heal and function better. Now let's look at the naturalness at the heart of the paleo diet. First step. Cut out industrial and processed foods. Forget about dairy products, milk, yogurt, cheese, cream, and cereals, bread, pasta, cookies. We skip rice and legumes, lentils, peas, soy and peanuts in all forms. We stop eating sweet products, from fruit yogurt to soda, including jam and dessert creams. Replace them with fruits and vegetables in quantity, even if we moderate the fruits, meat, fish, shellfish, seafood and eggs of the best possible quality so that their proteins and fats are nutritionally interesting. We choose olive, coconut, macadamia and avocado oils, but we can also dare to use duck fat, quality butter. On the menu, without excess, oil seeds, walnuts, hazelnuts, almonds, pistachios, macadamia, and seeds, squash, sunflower, pine nuts. No cereals or legumes. To be replaced by sweet potato, plantain, butternut squash, and parsnip. Or beets, turnips, rutabaga and potatoes, peeled. So, are you interested in the paleo diet? One thing is sure. The main thing is to find the diet that suits us, the one that will be in harmony with our values and our rhythm of life. Enjoy your meal. If you are not yet a subscriber to the Top Fitness Health YouTube channel, consider subscribing, and if you want to be notified when a new video is released, consider activating the little bell. See you soon for more videos. And until then, take care of yourself.